So today I'm having a bit of like a life admin day. You know when things just keep building up and they're things that aren't particularly like urgent, they don't need to be done right now, but it's just like a list of things that you need to do and you just don't want to do them, and then finally one day you're like, I'm gonna do all these things, and then it takes you like an hour max. I'm having one of those days, and one of the things on my list was to finally sort out my office and my bookshelf and my book situation. And then I thought, that's content, I'm gonna film myself doing that. So we are currently stood in my office, which is where I film all of my videos, but this is probably the angle you don't get to see too often. This is my bookshelf, and this is my window with a pile of books on it that I've been meaning to sort out forever, and I just haven't done it. This is my window. That's why there's so much light coming in. I don't know how to fix that, but this was the best angle so I could show you my bookshelf, so here we go. Do you like how I've like strategically placed myself in front of the window to try and block out as much of that light as possible? I was watching a YouTube video from somebody the other day, and they were like filming sat in front of their window, and the light situation like wasn't an issue. You could just see out the window at like the city behind him, and I was like, how do you do that? I've just spent the last half an hour trying to play with my settings, so like this isn't happening. Don't get it. I don't understand cameras. I can turn it on and I can talk to it, but that is about it. But anyway, that's besides the point. Let me pick up my camera and like show you the kind of thing we're dealing with here. So this is my bookshelf. This is it. This is the only bookshelf I have in my house. And because of that, I have a very, very strict system when it comes to my books, as you'll come to see. This is my pile of books I need to sort out today. And these are my pretty books that I put on a little invisible shelf that I think look very, very cute in the corner with my MacBook and my plant. And it's a whole vibe. I've got a vibe going here. This, not a vibe. So the tour of my bookshelf, this is what we've got to fix, is as follows. So up here I've got all my Harry Potter books. As you can see, these are all like first editions. They're not in great condition, but I literally read these books to death as a kid, so that's self-explanatory. I've got my Hunger Games books. I've got this little plant pot that my friends got me as a moving in present when we bought this house. And in here, I've got a Taylor Swift candle, of course, and he's going to keep plants going here. I've got my shrine to my dead horse. It's very healthy. So second row, these are all books I've read already, and they're books that I like and want to keep. So they're kind of in like height order. There's no particular order to them in terms of like what I like the most. They're just in height order, whatever looks prettiest. I do maybe want to go for like colour eventually, but I don't think I have enough books yet to go for like colour theme. So I'm going to keep with this kind of situation organisation thing where I'm just keeping the books that I actually want to keep and have on display. Maybe. We'll see. And these books belong on this pile, which I'll explain in a little bit. This is an old pen pot that I'm actually going to get rid of. It's just, that's an old camera battery, but the rest of the stuff in there is crap. This is kind of the row of books I don't really know what to do with. So I've got some non-fiction books I've read and really enjoyed up here. Then I've got more of like the classics, which I like to own, but I don't know if I particularly want them out on display, maybe. I mean, like, they're all a bit destroyed. Sorry, my microphone's just there. I'm going to move that there. Like my Pride and Prejudice and like my Frankenstein are destroyed, and my Kite Runner. Yeah, I don't really know what to do with this layer. I might see what the situation is once I've sorted out all the books that aren't on the bookshelf yet, and if I've still got space, I'll keep these on here, but if I don't, then I'm going to find somewhere else to put them. How cute are these little bookends, by the way? These are actually from Primark. I got them not too long ago, and this little lamp is also from Primark. This was £14. The actual light doesn't light anything, it's awful, but it's very cute. Then down here, I actually think I am going to remove these ones, because these are all the books I've read and either I hated, or they're just books I'm not necessarily bothered about keeping. But I do want to keep a hold of them for the moment, because I want to be able to like talk about them in like a 2022 reading wrap-up video. So I'm keeping them all. Then in the new year, my friends can have like free reign and take whatever they want, because I just don't think there's any point in keeping books that I didn't like. Like, I know a lot of people out there like keep every single book they read whether or not they didn't like it, but if I didn't like it, or if I'm never going to read it again, what's really the point? And if it's not like particularly pretty, if it doesn't bring me joy, a lot of these books just brought me pain. So they're all going to go eventually. What I might actually do is I might put these in a cupboard so I don't have to look at them, but I can still keep them for the end of the year. We'll see. Right, okay, so here I've got 3 piles of books, most of which, 99% of which, I think I have not read. So I need to go through them, figure out if I'm going to read them. I need to be strict with myself, because if I'm not going to read it, I don't want it cluttering up my shelves, because I just simply don't have the space. Let's start with all the hardback books. So at the very top we have This Woman, Myra Hindley's Prison Love Affair and Escape Attempt. This was part of a PR thing that I got sent, and I skimmed it, but I haven't read it properly, but I kind of do want to read it properly. I just don't really tend to, like, in my spare time, in my, like, leisure time, I don't like reading books about true crime. I don't like reading non-fiction books. I'll much rather lose myself in a fictional world than in non-fiction. So it just never occurs to me in my spare time to, like, pick up a book about a serial killer. Because, you know, we've all got to have the lighter side of our lives, and the lighter side of my life is generally my reading. But I do kind of want to read this properly. So I'm going to put this up here, which is where we're going to put all of the books I'm going to keep, I think. Yes. Then we have Witchfinder by Andrew Williams. I've had this set on my shelf for years now. Have I read it? No. It's going. We have Dr. Marie Cassidy's Beyond the Tape. Now, I actually got sent this, for full disclosure, a couple of years ago, and I gave it a really good attempt. I did. I read like half of it. I found it a real struggle to get through. It was sat on my Goodreads, like, reading thing for months and months and months, and eventually I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to finish it, and I removed it from my Goodreads, like, currently reading, and it's just sat on my shelf ever since. I just think, so basically Dr. Marie Cassidy is a forensic pathologist, and it's sort of like following her career. And I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I hadn't already read this one, Dr. Richard Shepard's Unnatural Causes. These are very similar premises. Unnatural Causes is so much better. So Richard Shepard is also a forensic pathologist. He's also a forensic pathologist. I just found this one was much colder. It was much more detached, and there were sort of like less. I think the reason why Unnatural Causes really gripped me is because I knew a lot of the sort of crimes and a lot of the, what's the word? A lot of like the big historical events that happen in this book where Richard Shepard was a pathologist working on the case. I was really familiar with a lot of them, whereas with Dr. Marie Cassidy's, I wasn't really. And I just wasn't as gripped. I feel like there was like a historical element to this I really enjoyed that this book was missing. And it felt very detached. So I think I'm going to cut my losses. I'm going to put this away. No. Also, the reason I have this, so actually this isn't my copy of this book. This is my copy of the book. I got sent this part of a PR package from CBS. And obviously I've already read the book. So I'm actually going to do a giveaway with this, I think. You know what, I was going to do it on Instagram, but let's do it here. Let's do it here and now, right now. If you guys want me to send you this book in the post, UK only, please. I'm not made of money. If anybody in the UK wants this book, then please leave in the comments. What should you leave in the comments? Tell me what your favourite book of all time is. Like, you can only have one. Your one favourite book that you always recommend to people. Leave it in the comments down below, along with your Instagram handle, so I can contact you. If you win this, I'll put it all in like a random generator, and whoever wins, I'll send you the book. But again, UK only, please. We Keep the Dead Close by Becky Cooper. No idea what this is about. No idea how this came to be in my possession. Not interested in reading it. I don't like hardbacks. That is like a hard and fast rule for me in my reading. Hardbacks, I just really struggle to like sit down and read. Like, it feels like a workout. It's too heavy, and they're too big, and they're too thick, and I just don't enjoy it. And this is Jessica Fellowes' The Mitford Scandal. I think if I actually sat down and read this, I'd probably really enjoy it, but it's been sat on my shelves again for years and years and years. Have I read it? No, so that's going to go away. Stuart McBride, Flesh House. Again, haven't read it. Am I going to read it? Probably not. Going away. Hidden Valley Road by Robert Kolker. It's inside the mind of an American family, and I got sent this as part of a PR thing. And I haven't read it yet, but you know what? I do actually want to read this, even if it is hardback. This is the heart-rending story of a mid-century American family with 12 children. 6 of them diagnosed with schizophrenia. They became science's greatest hope in the quest to understand the disease. That sounds fascinating, and I do want to read it, so you're going to stay. Here I have 2 Beano annuals that have just been sat on my windowsill for God knows how long. Fun fact about me is I own every Beano annual for pretty much my entire life. I'm 28 years old. I've got a whole box of Beano annuals up in the loft from every year since I was born, I think. This is the 2021 annual, this is the 2022 annual, and I have now read these so they can go in my box upstairs. I always read Beanos. I love Beanos. My nan and granddad have every single Beano and Dandy from like the 1960s, and I've read them all, so I just really enjoy them. I don't think I've ever said that on the internet before. Fun fact about me. Then we have The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is obviously the prequel to The Hunger Games. It focuses on the life of President Snow. And you know what? I tried to read it. I did not get further than 13 pages in. So there you go. I do want to read this though, because I know there's a movie coming out in the next couple of years, and I do want to read the book before the movie comes out. So I'm going to like provisionally keep this, but I'm also going to ask my friends if they've got a paperback version, because I feel like I'll be a lot more inclined to read it if it's paperback. Also, it's just so big. It's so big. I just don't want to read books this size. It's nearly it's over 500 pages. Over 500 pages. Like, come on. Who's got the time? Who has got the time? A couple of coffee table books that have just been sat on my windowsill again, but these are going to go downstairs. So I've got Lisa Eldridge's Face Paint, which is the story of makeup. It's like a historical book all about makeup, which is really interesting. And I've got Humans of New York by Brandon Stanton. If you don't follow Humans of New York on Facebook, then I don't know what you're doing with your life. Brandon Stanton basically goes around and just photographs people and gets them to tell him like a snippet of their life story. And it just fills me with joy every time. It's just so lovely and heartwarming. And I just love having this book to flick through. I really enjoy it. And that's pretty much the end of all the hardbacks. Okay, good. We're getting rid of a good load of my hardbacks. By going. Next up, I've got 3 books I actually have borrowed from my friend Nicole. I've got Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata that I have read. I actually need to film my review on this because I am doing a books my subscriber recommended to me video, and this was one of the books in that video. Spoiler alert. And I've read it and I need to do a review on it before I give it back to Nicole. So I'm going to put that here just for the moment. But I do need to film something with that very soon. I've got Kim Jeong, born 1982. This, I'd never heard of this before, but Nicole's basically got like loads of bookshelves in her lounge, and I was just in her house and I was just going through her bookshelves like, can I borrow that? Can I borrow that? And luckily she said yes, so I need to read this and give it back to her. This is really short. It's only 200 pages and Nicole said it's really good. So this will be a good one to help me get to that Goodreads goal for the year. And then finally, I'm so excited about this one. I was so happy to let me borrow this one. This is Velvet Was the Night by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I don't know anything about this book. I don't know what it's about, but I just love the vibe. And I've heard people talking about this author on TikTok, and I'm sold. It's like dark gothic, I think. Like gothic romance, maybe. I don't know, but I'm all in for it. I'm very excited. We have The Manningtree Witches by A.K. Blakemore. One of my sister's friends, Jade, was doing a big clear out of loads of her books, and she very kindly asked me if I wanted any of them, and I did. So this is one of the ones. It's just really cool to me. This is basically a witches burning historical story. It says England, 1643, puritanical fever has gripped the nation. That sounds good, does it not? Jade said she actually wasn't that bothered about this one, but I think it sounds good, so I'm very intrigued to see what I think. We have the Heartstopper series. I have volumes 1 through 4. I haven't read them yet, and I need to. I ordered these when, like, the world's at the height of the, like, Heartstopper TV series hype, and I haven't actually read them, and I really need to, but every time I, like, go to pick up the first one, like, volume 1, I'm like, oh, but I actually need to read that book, and I need to read that book. And just other books always take priority over reading these because they're actually graphic novels. And I don't know why, but it scares me a little bit. I've never read a graphic novel before. I say just minutes after saying that I've read every single Beano and Dandy annual, so maybe I will be able to cope with this. I think I just need to just do it. So I think once I start, I'm going to really enjoy it. We have Bernadine Evaristo, Girl, Woman, Other. I actually found this in Aldi. It was £2. It was such a bargain. I need to read this. I definitely need to read this. And then we have, in a bit of a plot twist, this is very different for me because I'm not a fantasy reader. I don't like fantasy books. I haven't found one that I've liked since Harry Potter. But this is The Night Circus and the Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. And my friend Simone has given me these, and she reads a lot of fantasy. And she said that she didn't like either of these. And I'm kind of just intrigued. I don't know if it's just like the TikTok hype taking over and making me want to read The Night Circus in particular. But they're both fantasy. But maybe, I was thinking maybe I'll do like a trying fantasy books for the first time video, and it will actually give me motivation to read these books. I don't know, I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued, especially by The Night Circus, so we'll see. But I do want to read them. And you know what? If I start them and I don't like them, I can just stop. I can do that. Saying that, another one I've got in this pile is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. Another friend has loaned this to me to read, and it's been sat on my bedside table just like looking at me. And I'm just scared. I'm just scared to start it because I don't think I'm going to like it, but also so many people freaking love these books. But is it like a portal into another world that's just going to like take over, and am I never going to read a normal book again? Like, people who love this series, like, they love this series. And I don't know if I want to be one of them. I don't know. See, Simone gave this to me because she was like, oh, it's your book, I'm giving it back. And I was like, oh yeah, it is. But I've realised it's actually not, because this is my book. Up here, this is I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. So Simone, if you're watching, this isn't my book. I don't know whose it was. I thought it was mine, but it's not. So I'm going to keep hold of that for a second because I don't know where that's going to go. The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I'm actually in the process of reading this. I think I just accidentally picked up off my bedside table whilst I was getting the rest of the books off my bedside table. So that's going to go back over there to go back on my bedside table. We have Her Name in the Sky by Kelly Quinlan. This is a sapphic novel, apparently, but apparently it's really good, but this cover sucks. And then, like, it's all weird inside. It feels like a proof copy of it. Like, the writing's, like, really, really close to the sides, and it's really white, and it's really floppy. It feels like a proof copy of this book, and it's just really making me not want to read it. But I think the actual story itself is supposed to be good, so do I need to go over myself? Probably. And then we move on to the final pile, very precariously. We have, my friend Luke got me this ages ago, it's What Would the Spice Girls Do? I love the Spice Girls. I'm absolutely obsessed with the Spice Girls, have been since I was a literal toddler. I have read this. It's just like, where do you put a book like this? Like, it's cute. Maybe this will be another, like, coffee table book. The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North. Again, I think Simone lent this to me years ago, and I just have not read it. And will I read it? I don't know if I will. It says on the back, an astonishing reinvention of the time travel narrative. If I read the fantasy stuff and I like that, maybe I'll be more inclined to read a time travel thing. If I read the fantasy stuff and I don't like it, I don't think I will want to read this. This book has literally been like staring at me and judging me from my shelf for so long, and maybe I just need to admit that I'm never going to do it. No, it's going. I'm doing it. Jeanette Winterson, Frankenstein. I wanted to read this so bad. I actually think I pre-ordered this because I was so excited for it. And have I read it? No. Did I start to read it? Yes. I think I got up to page 11 because I dog-eared that page, and I just wasn't bothered by it. I just didn't care. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's going to go. Again, it's me staring at me and I just feel guilt, so no, she's going. The Tea House Detective by Baroness Orczy. Again, I don't think this is for me. That's going to go. Frostblood by Ellie Blake. Now, this is also one that Simone lent me, and I haven't read it, but she keeps saying to me, have you read it yet? And every time I'm like, no, not yet. So maybe I just need to read it. I'm going to keep this one because I feel like it keeps coming up and I just need to do it. Furious Hours, Murder, Fraud and the Last Trial of Harper Lee. This is literally about Harper Lee, the author. It says on the back, this is the story Harper Lee wanted to write. This is the story of why she couldn't. That actually sounds really interesting. Why have I not read that? Oh, I might not have read it because the text is so small. It's so small. Does anybody else find that text when it's this small just gives you a headache? Like, that doesn't make me want to read it. That just feels like a chore to me. Maybe I'll see if this is on, like, Kindle, because I'm kind of intrigued by the book, but I realistically don't think I'm going to read this. One Day by David Nichols. This is a classic, but I haven't read it yet. And again, I've had it for ages and I just haven't read it. But it's a classic, so maybe I should. Maybe I will. I'm going to keep that one. Justice for Helen by Marie McCourt with Fiona Duffy. This is a true crime story of the disappearance of Helen McCourt, and I actually do need to read this because I really want to do a video about Helen's case. Yes, I'm going to keep that. I'm actually going to put that towards the front of my list. I'm going to put that there. That can go there. There's no rhyme or reason as where I'm putting books currently, but they're all going to go on my shelf properly in a bit. Out in the Cold by Stuart Johnston. This is another book that I started reading. Just couldn't get into it. It just wasn't... It didn't pull me in, and it's meant to be like a psychological thriller, like police procedural type thing. I just didn't do it for me, so that can go. And then moving on to a load of books I actually bought at the 66 Books warehouse sale a few months ago. I just haven't got through reading them all yet. I've got Find Me by Andre Asselman, which is the sequel to Call Me By Your Name. I really, really do want to read this. I'm scared to in case it ruins Call Me By Your Name, but I don't think it will do, so I need to read that. I've got 2 Ellie Griffiths books. I always struggle to say the surname. Griffiths. I need to read these. All of these I'm actually intending fully to read. I just need to get around to it. I've got The Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney. I've got What Lies Buried by Kerry Danes. This is a forensic psychologist's true stories of madness, the bad, and the misunderstood. Again, this is one of these books I'm like, it feels like a bit of a chore to read, but if it's good, it'll be really good, and if it's bad, it'll be really bad. So I think I just need to give it a go. We have The House of Impossible Beauties by Joseph Cassara. We've got Devotion by Madeline Stevens. We've got Last Beauty Queens by Ivan Mona Lisa Ojeda, which it's got Paul Liaison on the front. I'm fascinated. And then we've got Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson, which I really, really want to read this one. I actually might do this one after I finish The Balancing Half. And with that out of the way, that's all the books. Let's focus on the actual organisation. Right, I think I'm going to move all the books that I have read but don't like and I'm going to give away into my cupboard. And then on the bottom, I'm going to put all like my books I need to read, like my physical TBR. The ones I'm actually going to read are going to go on this bottom shelf. Yes. I really need to get more bookends. Right, these hardbacks I want to read, but I'm probably not going to get around to anytime soon. I'm going to like sneakily put them down the side so they're like, I still see them, but they're not like staring me directly in the eye. Right, so on this one we have all of my non-fiction and my classics. I actually think I can keep these on here for the moment, but I'm just going to slide in. I'm just going to put this second Unnatural Causes in there just so I don't lose it. And I'm going to put the Helen McCourt book in there as well. And I will read that eventually. I'm going to put that on my work to-do list. And then on this top level, I'm just going to put Convenience Store Woman. That can stay as it is. These books can stay up here for the moment. My like Harry Potter books, you can't see me. And the rest of the books are going to go in a cupboard. Out of sight, out of mind. No longer my problem. And then at the end of the year, my friends can have a free-for-all. Yes. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed going through my bookshelf with me and just doing a bit of life admin and helping me sort out my books, finally. Maybe this is really boring content for you, but you know what? I've got an errand done, so I'm pretty chuffed. Thank you very much for tuning in today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.